Sun in Aquarius. How purifying. This person is somebody who is not really here. They're just multiplying. They're looking at the fractals of everything here. And they're making things magically appear and disappear. They're beyond manifestation. They're just looking at life. They're like a scientist or an interesting wife. I want to say wife, I don't know why. Because they're very specific in things that they see. As you see later with the zodiac, the knowledge tree severs. We don't see things as together forever because Sagittarius experiences amnesia. And that gives the next two signs a very strange seizure. Capricorn and Aquarius see things as black and white, woman or man, husband or wife. And that's a very interesting idea because I've always felt that Aquarius was the greatest healer and beer. Somebody who's just being for exactly who they are and where they've come. But this is a really weird, interesting thing about Aquarius is that they are incredibly stern. They are someone who knows that things exactly need to be the way they are. But at the same time, they want to change everything. And this by far is the most contradicting sign of all, because Aquarius is never ready for the fall. They want to change things, but they can't experience the trauma. They don't want to be here in a state of great dilemma. They want things to be cozy and to a degree predictable. And yet they want inside them most of all a situation that's more suitable. They want something more from reality, and they always have. Well, it's because Aquarian Sun will never behave. It will always be reft of all glory and all understanding, as everything inside them is rebelling, and sending an impulse of change through the entire collective. This Uranus-powered sign is infectiously brave and pretending. It's pretentious and brave at the same time, you see. Because this powerhouse of a person is trying to persuade you or me to know who we are, yet to change ourselves completely. And that is something that seems at a glance very silly. We don't understand what they want. We can't see that all this person requires is just for you or me to give up what we are and to try it anew. And that is why Aquarian Sun is kind of torturing you. They're looking through life like a catalogue of dreams. They're just quickly listing through, and it seems uncanny and true, but they do not care. They're looking through the catalogue. Hey, you are there. Looking through the catalogue again. Hey, I'm here. Well, this means that I'm the kind of person that dresses like this and I drink beer, and you're the kind of person that wears a tutu and drinks champagne. So I'm sorry, my friend, but we are not the same. They look at us in a weird human perception, in a gentle surrender and great infatuation. They look at us and they label us as something that's unworthy, but yet inside their heart, they've got a lot of, sorry, I really love you, don't you see? I am your friend. And this is what we cannot understand. This person glorifies forever as something ambitious. They really don't like the idea of eternity being fictitious. They want a stability within their environment. And yet, in the life of theirs, they create an energy of retirement. They're looking for energy that makes them feel old. They create themselves a life that's glistening gold, but there is something stagnating and something so boring. There is a life for them that seems strangely weird, a story which doesn't add up or needs to be said. There is something that they would rather do, and instead they will never pursue that which they want, for Aquarian Sun feels that everything is got. They feel they've got what they need and they feel it'll suffice, but yet inside them there is something that will think more than twice. Inside their heart they feel that they're forever misunderstood, and though it's not very important for the Sun, but they need to be elevated in their neighborhood. They need to be, and this is a funny oxymoron, because this person is seen by others as maybe a little bit of a moron, because they've got ideas and they've got destinations, but what they require is just somebody else's frustrations. They want to frustrate people and they want to be empowered, and at the same time they don't want to be something that is simple or something that's devoured, but they are. They're scrutinized and poked at and reported as something that's not right or somehow dislocated or disordered. They don't really need you to tell them who they are. For Aquarius Sun has come here, and by far they've come to teach you all to just relax and see society exactly as it be. They don't mean to be rude or nasty or any type of wrong, but what they see inside us all is something that's too long, you know? They want abbreviation for everything. They want it catalogued and stapled all together. They have no need to dig in dirt for your remarks. They forgive you really quickly. They breathe half breaths. They're light as feathers. They don't require much at all, and that's why they retire very quickly. Because inside them, they feel that everything's here to already be known, and there is no need to be picky. But then inside the heart is need for change and revelation, a revolutionary stance, something that boggles the imagination. And this is the desire to be that which is true, and that is the desire in which they feel they have no use. They're useless in a way. They want to be confound. They feel that what they've got in life is somehow not so proud. They need to be alleviated of everything at once, and that is why decision to retire is that which takes the chance. In the end, they can live a life that's not very exciting, all because they are so tired of this internal fighting. They see this world as a black and white response to imagination, and that is why, in many ways, they have a trouble with creation. They will create a lot, and sometimes none at all. They will create too much, out of control. They'll look at us and laugh, and nobody will get it. And at the same time, in a way, they'll always just regret it. They will forever look inside and see themselves as unworthy, because their earth is in the house of fun. And this will now me bother. Because my Sun is in the 11th house, and this is why. When Earth is in the 5th house, or in the house of Leo for Aquarius, this person needs to give up the catalog. They need to become something delirious. This is not very understood by modern world or science, but this person doesn't need to be still, civil, or in any form of compliance. If you're an Aquarius Sun, or 11th house Sun really, your ruleship of yourself is that which brings you healing. You can't be stuck or placed in any situation. You will discover ways to feed imagination in ways that are not right and never should be done. Because what you really understand only with age, I guess, is that fun is all that life should be forevermore. And that's why fun becomes the open door, the door through which you have begun to see. Fun for Aquarius is just like for an 11th house sun native here for me. Fun for Aquarius is where they want to be, but they will not think that it's real, you see. Because Leo rules the house of fun. And Leo, as Aquarius does discover later, is mystery. How do you elevate yourself and be a great big leader when you're not a king? You are just a people feeder. You're feeding or you're fed. It's just a little weird. And this is why Aquarius is very strangely wired, because they don't want to elevate and lead the world of people, because they understand that nothing should be steepled. No one is leader ever. Nobody's invited. Everybody is just a person. Everybody's united. And here's what they find in time through many understandings, is that possibility of ruleship does come to their life, but they understand that when they are ruling something or somebody, they're in need of great pretending. They have to pretend to be small or unworthy. They're filtering through their life as somebody who's measly. They understand that in ruleship of people, they're creating a life for themselves that's not pure or simple. They're just creating a problem out of a problem again. And this is why they don't last as great rulers of women and men. They just inspire and ignite a spark of energy, which will bring to them much persecution and often much envy. But then that spark builds a great reconciliation and truly fathoms in people a new imagination. This is why Aquarius Sun and 11th house Sun can be still. That's because these people are not able to be here until they understand that everything's a freaking joke. That nothing here is real. And this is why they mock. They mock the world of living perseverance. They mock this catalog desire for otherworldly interference. They want it all to fall and make itself anew. And this is why Aquarius Sun is looking for you. For you. Someone who's special and exciting. Someone who's foreign and uniting, someone who's strange and persevering, someone who's understanding clearly, but never really anyone can be that person, because Aquarian Sun is always changing. So with season, their feelings change for other people. And that's because they're trying to understand something so hard in ways so simple. They want to know what they can do for other people. How can they be in this society that's filtered with crap and things that are not worthy of being big? They want to change the life, and this is what they rig. They rig their life. They break themselves apart. They might create a way to someone else's heart when they're in a relationship, or find some ways to flee their understandings. They'll create some weird, tricky, dark escape that is frowned on by society. They are in need of mending. That is why. And in many situations, this fantastic girl or guy will find complete result only in the breaking of the past. Until, in the very end, most likely, they will see that lust for change has brought them many perils and many karmas too. They will feel feral. They'll feel unclean and somehow not of mind. They'll feel that something in their life they hide. They're really quite unwell and not very not very politely spoken, sane. They'll realize that something with them in their mind is not okay. And though it's not going to be very good for them to see, they'll understand eventually that unity does not mean community or any kind of communal living. Unity is not a thing of this world, for it's the feeling of unity is what they're trying to achieve. And this is not for every Aquarian person, as it's a fixed sign, but with time they will give in to the idea of oneness, interlacing all reality. They will really feel what it's like to experience a great unity, through which they'll find religious understanding or some kind of a spiritual quest, in which they will feel no cataloging needed really in the end. They'll catalog it first, but then they'll see that it's all pretending. You cannot catalog what is spirit. You cannot put it in a box. And in this great frustration with themselves, they suddenly become a fox. A fox, like someone, is delightful. There'll be somebody who's sexy, who's not frightful, somebody who's strangely inducing a feeling of oneness, someone who's funny enough to be clownless. They don't need to poke a face or a spiritual discussion. They just become whole in themselves and not so fractured, not so mushy. In the way of the land, as their earth is in Leo, they become something spectacular. They undergo a great reform in the spiritual realm. They become somebody who is not really caring, but somehow very pure of intention and integrity. They become with great age somebody who does not need the calamity, who doesn't need to outshine or outnumber or outspeak. They become something silent, something that doesn't want to see, something that doesn't need to portray any interest in humanity, something that doesn't want to cause all this ruckus and all this calamity. This can be taken by force or by will. They could get blinded or something. They could just be very still. But there's a stillness that comes in some way at a time where they don't need to be playing this big pantomime. They don't need to be oracling or telling a story. They don't need to be feeling this way, because it becomes very boring. They just become still and in a way retired, but not anymore. Their life has expired before they are dead. They die early on, either physically or in their head. Their mind just leaves. It becomes very clear. They have no need in some kind of elevating career. They have no need to become someone's mother or somebody's father or somebody's brother. They just become very clean in their brain. And this can deem them in ways quite insane, because everybody is monkeying around all the time. But this person eventually grows sick of this whole pantomime. They clear the way to a greater knowing. They clear all this rubble of catalogues for a beautiful showing. A show they put on is just the breath in their lungs. They no longer seek the attention from us. They don't care what you think or really who you are. And that makes this Aquarian personality something that's by far more transcendent than anyone, really. For they no longer need to be anything but still. Just breathing. And that's very hard to imagine, as we have created life into such a colorful pageant. But in time, for most Aquarian suns comes a moment where they can see that their life is just a burning out comet, and they let it burn down and reveal eternity, in which they feel no more. They're not dumb or broken in weird calamity that they could be to get there, but they just become very wise, so wise that their ego has no need to despise. They do not need a disguise of a prophet, a poet, or a guru. For this Aquarian sun doesn't want to undergo any more turmoil, just to be still. And that may mean to create themselves a life that will steal. In the Piscean way, they will steal our ideas. In the Piscean way, they will no longer be so righteous. They'll free us. They will release all of us as if they never bothered. They will release all of these jokes of life to see that there were troubles. They will just unearth this amazing development, really, as they become a lot more laughing and less touchy-feely. They don't recognize anybody as anything that's important. And usually, well, society sees that as a sort of disorder. But eventually, this person is elevated into a life that is easy and not understated.